Tim Ferriss once said, "Conditions are never perfect. Someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you. If it's important to you and you want to do it, eventually, just do it and correct course along the way." This is the Producers Lounge Podcast, the best podcast online for tips and tricks on producing great film, television, and web content. Welcome back for Season 2, Episode 19, hosted and produced by greaterandgrander.com. On this week's episode, we're chatting with Vineyard, who has produced short and independent features, including his upcoming feature directorial debut, Loaded Deck. I've known Jared for years, and I actually hired him back in the day to write a short for me, so it's great to see him mature into a producer in his own right. Here now is my conversation with Vineyard. Well, I like the goatee.
Oh, thanks. My wife likes the goatee. That's why I have a goatee.
There you go. I'm definitely getting like evil Spock vibes.
Evil Spock. Oh, just wait. If I like round up the corners, I can really you're giving a little curl and
Well,
got fully there, but
yeah.
right. So choose.
So you're still up in Sunnyvale in Northern California?
Yeah, hanging out in Sunnyvale.
Nice. Well, how's it treating you?
It's okay. It's Silicon Valley and stuff like that. So it's all kind of tech here. I was kind of hoping that there'd be a little bit more of a thriving film community than what I've found here. But I guess so close to LA that if anyone really wants to be in film, well, they just go down to LA, I guess. So there's a little bit up here, but I don't know. Most of the real things that are shooting here seem like they're things that are up from LA or something like that, rather than really being stuff that's really started here. So I've worked on putting together little things. I did a short a little while back, just trying to put together a group of people like, who around here wants to shoot stuff. Let's just make some stuff, got a meeting where, a bunch of people showed up. They seemed kind of excited at first, and then it's like, all right, let's get down and start making something. And then there's like 5 of us left or 4 of us left. Yeah, but it's like, okay, all right. That's how that goes. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. I had a similar situation actually with have you heard about the Poor People's Campaign?
The Poor People's Campaign? No, I'm not aware of that one. At least not off my head.
They're like a national group, and they have like groups in like every state and almost every major city. And so they were like, oh, we have something set up in LA. Let's get an arts committee involved. And you got all these people interested in the arts committee, like, oh yeah, let's do something that's really cool. And then just gradually, like, nobody did anything, and then just interest went down. It's just like, oh wow, yeah. So that's unfortunate, I guess.
Yeah, but it's all right. It is what it is. I mean, we end up shooting a short and stuff. It was, I don't know, like, I think there ended up being 6 of us there to shoot. 4 of us ended up being actors in it as well. Like, shoot, you yell. It's like, no, we don't really have a DP. We don't really have a sound guy. We don't really have like the basic things you want to have when shooting something. But it was all right. Got something done. Like one camera that's okay. We got some phone cameras that we're using as well, and we're putting together all sorts of shoelacing this thing together. But so it was all right. But and then just kind of fizzled. But edited the thing together and stuff. So did something, but just not a big film crowd here that I kind of expected to see a little bit.
What I've found is, and what I've heard is, like, a lot of tech guys, not so much film people, but they are camera people. Like, you got a lot of photography cross common.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. I mean, and you got the the people who kind of can shoot or have some stuff, and you gotta try to book them a little bit because they're like running around doing weddings or doing like little corporate events and doing like things like that is kind of what their bread and butter is around here.
Yeah,
and stuff. And so, but yeah, what have you been up to? What's going on?
Oh gosh, well, I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about it.
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about.
But yeah, I'm doing that, and then I'm also trying to juggle a lot of other stuff. Like I have these feature projects I'd like to get off the ground, and I finally said like, fuck it, I'm gonna direct it, you
Yeah.
know? And it's funny because like last year, I don't know if I told you about this, I directed a mockumentary for this company called Toggle.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, it's something we're trying out, branded content for our YouTube and if and originally they got three filmmakers and they were like, okay, if we like it, we'll do another three later on. I figured, oh, like three filmmakers, another three, it'll be a second episode for each one of us.
Mm.
So they released mine. It shoots to like the top 10% most watched video on their channel. And they were like, we want to do four more actually, and we want you to direct all of them over the course of the next year. So I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. And I'm like, oh wow, I've been trying to produce all this time. I actually found like I'm actually good at directing.
Yeah.
So I lucked out, and so I'm going to be working on those over the course of next year, and I'm going to try and build a hand around those to try and get more directing opportunities. So we'll see. Yeah,
Nice. I like it.
yeah, yeah. So, but what about you? Like, I was looking at your IMDb. It looks like you've got three shorts from the last couple of years up there. Or sorry, not
I've
one
got
is a short.
we got a couple features up there from last.
Sorry, I misspoke. One is a short, and two of them are features. Or
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah, with the films that are up on there, yeah, you got a couple features that as the screenwriter on actually all three of those movies you would have seen on there. We had the screenwriter on.
nice.
The first one was kind of this crazy comedy thing. I got called in because I'd
Hmm.
written something for the director who got hired onto the project, and um, he wrote like some shorts for him. Back in the
Hmm.
day, he made a couple of them, and so they got paid. It was one of those things where it's like, or he's just looking for writers, and it's like, come in and write for me. If I make it, then I'll pay you. It's like,
Uh-huh.
all right, I'll try a couple of shorts. We'll see. It's not that hard to write. A short doesn't take a super time commitment as like
Yeah.
writing a feature does or something. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like, you never know, something might get made or something. So he did shoot a couple of them, so I got paid a little bit for that. But then later he calls me up and he's like, "Hey, got this movie that I've been hired to do, and it needs a rewrite. So
Hmm.
you want to come in and do a rewrite?" I'm like, "Sure, I can make that happen." It's like it needs a rewrite fast. I'm like, "Okay, we'll turn it around pretty quickly and stuff." And then it turns out what they had was a 40-page script thing that had been Google translated from Russian into English. And
Oh
it was
my God. I.
kind of this collection of things happening. No real characters necessarily, but
Uh-huh.
there were some things, some locations, and stuff. I'm like, okay.
Just the fact that you started with a Google translated
Yeah,
version of a Russian script. That
yeah,
is
yeah.
a.
It's really fantastic. So yeah, trying to work my way through reading and
Mhm.
understanding what was, exactly with that. I guess someone else had also like written had tried to turn it into a script, and so they showed me that as well. And so
Mhm.
that was a feature, but it wasn't good. Wasn't something they wanted to shoot,
Mhm.
um, and stuff. And so yeah, it was just all right. Go and turn this into a movie, and we need it like tomorrow, kind of thing.
Right.
So I mean, it's like pulling these all nighters and stuff. Like over, I mean, I turned around a draft in 8 days, like a feature script for them, and gave them this thing, and then um, and the director comes to me, and he's like, "Oh, this is fantastic. They're really liking it, but they're really attached to the things that were in that original thing. Like there's some things you cut,
Uh-huh.
there's things like all those scenes need to be in there somewhere. Like those weren't scenes. There's nothing happening. They're okay, so all those locations need to be in there is what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So like in kind of entirely rewrote from basically
Was it?
the act 2 on. It was like,
I gotta
um,
ask, was it the kind of thing where like there's a scene at a barber shop in Act Two and you got rid of it, and it turns out the guy who financing it owned a barber shop or like
it
something
wasn't
like
even
that?
one of those situations. I think it was just that the person who had like the main control on the project wrote that original 40-page thing, and
Uh-huh.
so that person was just really attached to whatever ideas they had, and those ideas had to be somehow in the script.
Right.
And so yeah, so it was one of those things. Go in and rewrite. All right, so that means we have to completely rework a story to make this make sense and stuff, and
Uh-huh.
and do that, and then that was it. Like once it was done, it was like hands off. You guys are off to the races. Do whatever you're gonna do with it.
Right.
And like I don't know, the director had a falling out with the people in like part way through the project. So he started as director, he didn't finish as the director. They
Ooh.
had a whole thing like the final script, um, like or the final movie didn't even hardly resemble the script. It was such a huge gap between the two. I was like, just watching you like ooh, it would be like, ooh, there's a punchline that I wrote. And that was just how I wrote that punchline. There's no setup for that punchline. It doesn't make any sense. No, it's there. Things like that where you just watch it. So, but yeah, like kind of the main people behind that hired me in on the next thing that they did, and that was the next feature that's on there. And
Uh-huh.
that one they had me um, be the first AD as well, because they're like, we need someone on set who knows the script as well. I'm like, shouldn't you have studied and know the script? Like whatever you're shooting, like the director has to know what they're shooting, right? Um, which on the second one wasn't always the case either. But it was quite the thing. But that one I ended
That
up. Uh,
it does need to be called out that that is a very odd choice. We're gonna bring the writer, we're gonna have him on set, but we're gonna make him the first AD, who's the person in charge of all the logistical stuff and getting the actors and their call times. Like
yeah.
that's odd.
Well, it was a little crazy. Because I was doing that, but I needed all the scheduling I was doing, so I ended up with kind of this
Uh-huh.
co-producer sort of thing going on. And first we're like, okay, 28 days to shoot. I'm like, oh, that's great. We can schedule this out, no problem.
Oh
Like
yeah.
25 days. Like, all right, that's not a problem. We squeeze it down to 20 days. All right, 20 days. Bro, we get to when we're about to shoot 10 days. You have to make you got 10 days to shoot this thing. I'm
Mhm.
like, doing all the scheduling for, all right, we're gonna get everybody in here, 10 days to
Mhm.
shoot it. And they start pulling in, a couple of like kind of name actors people have heard of in order to fill in some of the little roles and trying to get them to,
Right.
you know, worked around their schedules and everything fitting and things like that. So it was challenging, and it was tough because the director hadn't ever the director never did a shot list. So I had to
Oh
create
God.
I had to create a shot list. And we'd get to a scene, and I'd explain to the director what we're gonna shoot. I'd explain it to the people we're gonna shoot. And it's like I've handed this out, but no one's read it. But we don't know. You don't know. Like if I wasn't hands on with scenes, which some of them I had to be kind of helping out with something else, like uh just you just wouldn't get all the shots to cover what was supposed to happen in the scene, and some of the things. So some things ended up a little frustrating on that one for me, which is
Uh-huh.
I ended up kind of going the same path as you did, where you're like, I think maybe I'll do some directing. So I was like, maybe
Right.
I'll get to see like what I write end up being kind of what I see, on the screen a little bit more.
Mhm.
I mean, that's been the way with the loaded deck here. It's been
Oof.
yeah. So like, all right, the loaded deck. I'm gonna go in producing that one and come in as a director, um, or if I find a really good director along the way, uh, I they're like, we'll give you the money as long as this person directs it and they're good. I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure that we
So
know
then,
what's happening.
let's back up because you said like you've talked about how you decided you wanted to make Loaded Deck, you wanted to just take the helm and direct it. But
Mhm.
what is? Can I ask the story? Because it's listed as in development on IMDb, so I don't want to like put you in a weird spot where you.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you a bit about. So,
Okay.
the basic, the I guess the what sparked the idea to begin with was
Mm-hmm.
kind of joking around thinking about something to write, and it just had thought, what if Quentin Tarantino did a romantic comedy. I was like that'd be fun. Let's kind of play with that idea, and so end up with this film about this undercover cop who should be really in a movie like
Mm-hmm.
um, When Harry Met Sally, or something like that. It ends up being more in uh, or actually probably more of like a Sleepless in Seattle
Mm-hmm.
uh, sort of thing. Throw him into like a Reservoir Dogs, kind of thing. So this undercover cop falls in love with the woman he's supposed to be taking down,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, your heist goes wrong and everything, and suspicion turns on him. He's got 30 minutes to prove no, someone else on the crew is a snitch, or she's going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So you get this, anyone who's married probably has that feeling. The person I love may murder me at
Mm-hmm.
some point here. So it's relatable in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's a fun script. So when I started sending it over to people, people got excited and jumped on board pretty quickly. So sent it over to uh, probably the biggest get for it was send it to Kevin Sorbo, and uh, so sent it to his manager, and
Mm-hmm.
you know figured I won't hear anything back, whatever. But then rather than hearing back from the manager in a few days, I hear from Kevin Sorbo directly. It's like, oh, this is
Oh,
great. I'm in. Let's make this. Um,
Kevin Sorbo called you directly?
yeah, well, he emailed me directly, and then he called me, and we had a way to talk
Uh-huh.
a few days after that, um, and stuff like that. But yeah, so it was that was pretty exciting. That kind of got the ball rolling a little bit more, and stuff for the going out and trying to find the investors and the money and all of that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, but he's on board, and Quinton
So,
Aaron from the Blind Side, the main guy over there, and
mm-hmm.
a few other fun people. What sound like you're about to say something?
Well, I was just about to ask, I've heard, the catch-22 of this business, whereas you can't get an actor attached unless you have financing, but you can't get financing unless you have an actor attached. So, was there a strategy that you utilized to reach out to Sorbo and Quentin Aaron and these others, or?
Yeah, well, Quinton Aaron he was in that last movie, so I got a chance to work with him before,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So I had his email, I had his number, I could get a hold of him, and be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, look, I got this script. I got this really fun part in it for you.
Right.
Will you read it and take a look? If you like it, you know, sign on, do an LOI, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing." And so he read it, and he was down. He's like, "Yeah, this is good. Let's do it." So he was in. Um, Dean Bakar, who was like, if you like the South Park guys, I think you do like the South Park guys. Yeah, I was like, I know Tucci likes the South Park, but like Orgasmo. Actually, even going all the way back to like Cannibal the Musical. Did you ever see that one? Like
Oh yeah, I saw part of it. Yeah.
yeah, that's their like before they even did South Park, kind of a
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous musical, really pretty funny movie though.
Mm-hmm.
But Dean Bakar is the funny guy. He's like kind of the probably the biggest role outside of the two South Park guys in all of those movies. The
Okay.
what I'm trying to think, like basketball. He's that little quirk. I was trying to think what his character's name actually is in that movie. I think they
Honestly, it's
probably
one of
call him
those
Bitch
same.
more than they actually call him anything else. But
Oh, okay.
or in Orgasmo, he's like the sidekick
Uh-huh.
guy in that. So, um, like I think he was actually the first actor who had any kind of name or um, you know, recognizable kind of quality who signed on. Him I hadn't met before. When I was first putting the thing together, I was
Mhm.
thinking, I'll make this shoestring. a real, cheap thing. We'll just put together super ultra low budget feature.
Hmm.
Called up an actress who I directed in some commercials and stuff that I'd produced some years back. Um, who was really good, and um, it was like, all right, you can be this role. We'll make this thing, and she was really excited about it, and she had worked with Dean before. She's like, well, I've worked with this guy who'd be really funny in this other role and
Hmm.
really good. I mean, I can't guarantee he'll sign on, but I've got his contact information. So, I can make it to where you can give him a phone call or something like that. And so with him, it was so when I knew that I'd kind of brought him to the project,
Hmm.
knew him and just gave me the contact, and I called him, and it was the same sort of thing, you
Hmm.
know, and kind of, told him that, I enjoyed him in those movies. Got a role I think he'd be good at. Read the script, look at this role,
Hmm.
and send it over to him, and he liked it and signed on. So he was the first one, and then yeah, Quinton and Kevin. Yeah. So it just then every time you got someone, when you do a new email
Yeah.
to the next manager, or the next actor, the next person you're trying to get onto the things, like, these are the people who've signed on. So the project gets a little bit bigger,
Hmm.
as you go along with here's the team that we're putting together, and
So it's a war of attrition,
or
really.
yeah, you just keep on going. Yeah. So just once you start getting the momentum of, all right, we're making this thing, we're
Hmm.
pulling together the cast, we're pulling together the crew.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and you just go, and then budget it out, start hitting out you know all your investors, all the people that you want to try to go after, and try to find people that you can beyond this little network that you have with money or whatever. That's not very big, but yeah, you try to expand that to see whoever you can reach out to, and yeah, just keep on going, do something on it every day, and let it keep on building. Otherwise, it just kind of you lose your momentum and get in trouble. But
Nice.
but
It's
yeah,
very cool, man. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So it's been fun, but yeah, it's a long process getting together all the money and all the stuff. But yeah, it's been good, step by step. We've been building up to shooting something that should be a really good movie. Um, everybody who's read the script has been really positive about it, and gotten excited, and jumped on and stuff. So that's been pretty good.
So let me ask, for the other two features that you were producer and co-producer and even first
Mhm.
AD on, like what were some of the biggest lessons you learned from that as far as just producing and filmmaking?
Yeah, I mean, every project you're on, you learn a lot. I know
Hmm.
that when I first even moved to LA, and uh, was out there with you. I mean, you were probably one of the first people who hired me to write anything, but back then I was like jumping on anything I could. It was like
Yeah.
unpaid PA, like just trying to learn like how to make something.
And to be clear, like you were always an extremely talented writer. That's why I tried to like get you onto that and write that piece as quickly as I could. Like, yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, it was fantastic working with you. And it was fun. You were one of the first people who gave me a chance to write something for someone once I moved out there to LA. Uh, yeah, it was good. But then yeah, I would say, man, there's a lot of things. What one thing I learned is trying to figure out your different actors. Like, they all have different ways that they communicate and want to be communicated with.
Mhm.
Um, for the you know for the most part, I get along with people pretty easily and without a problem. But when you're on set, sometimes the stress just happens, and people can kind of blow up, so it's like I have no idea where that just came from, and so had one actress who had like a blow up on the whole thing. It's like just and just then like kind of turned it in my direction, and stuff like that. And so it was nice that she ended up. I was able to kind of step in, and she yelled at me and stuff rather than at crew people, and cause the whole the whole thing would come down. But I'd say trying to get a feel for, how the different actors and stuff like to be communicated
Hmm.
with and to. Like the one that had that blow up was, I mean, she wasn't one of the name actors or stuff that came in or anything.
Hmm.
Um, but um, but yeah, I mean, I look back and she's like, you communicated with me, different than you did with everyone else. Like you were much harder on me and stuff like that. It's like I thought that I communicated the exact same way with you as I did with everyone else. So I kind of went back and kind of like thought through like all right, where could I have like offended her in some way, or like how did that communicate her with a way that like didn't mesh with her,
Mm.
and stuff like that. And so trying to get upfront more information from actors as far as like how do they like to be communicated with, what kind
Mm.
of feedback do they like as far as like all right, we're going to shoot again, we need this sort of thing, or or whatever. We had one like like the few name people who were on were all really good, um and really easy to work with. uh So, like, one of them, like, if you tried to tell that person, like, "All right, this is what we're doing for the scene," like, there was no listening. It was, "You just leave the action to me. I got this. So it's like, I know what's happening. Don't tell," and it's like, okay, there's no real directing, no real anything here, just here's what the scene, you know, is, we're gonna do the shot from here. Good, you go, hands off,
Mhm.
really no communication. Whereas, other people wanted wanted lots of communication, and really liked like the kind of collaborative sort of thing. They're like asking for more from you. Like
Mhm.
we had Lou Ferrigno on the set, and at one point, like a PA or someone came up to me and was like, "Oh, Lou wants to see you in his dressing room about the script." Like, "Oh, okay." So I go over there and stuff, and I walk in there, and he just, walks up and he, like, goes in. He's got, like, this kind of intense, crazy, like, scene, and he just, like, goes into this monologue. I mean, like, full
Oh,
Lou
wow.
Ferrigno. And he's like, "Was that good?" I'm like, "That was great." I was like, it's like, "Is that what you're looking for? Do you want this, that?" Am I like, "If you do it like that, that is fantastic." Like, scared the crap, I mean, he's got biceps that are, like, still bigger than my head. So, so he's still intimidating. He still could play the Hulk, to make the, just a little bit older Hulk. Um, but yeah, there was, like, he wanted clear communication. He wanted everything like laid out. What are we gonna do? What's gonna happen? And you take it and go. Whereas another person, if you try to even like say, all right, uh, we're doing two different versions of the scene. One is kind of like this, and one's kind of like, oh, no, don't tell me what we're okay. Just do your thing. So
Mhm.
so that was something to kind of get used to. It's like, how do I communicate? Where is my communication strong and where is it not strong? With, you know, with actors, um, and stuff like that. So that was probably one of the biggest things on that last one. Um, I mean, a lot of the time it was trying to keep the crew sane as we're doing this like 10-day shoot, and trying to be a go between the director and
Mhm.
the cast and the crew, and try to keep that communication, strong. Like um, the director's first language wasn't English, so some of them had some
Huh.
trouble communicating. Although some of the crew, um, they'd be speaking one language and another crew would be speaking another language, and so it's like, I only speak one language, so I'm not even following what's going on with these guys or what's going on with these guys. You know, I think there were probably 3 or 4 languages that were being spoken on the set, and it's like I know one of them. So, um, So yeah, I mean, it was often just trying to figure out the best way to to keep communication open and clear. Trying to
Hmm.
make sure that I'm listening to whatever the crew needs, whatever the actors need, as well as understanding what you know the director's trying to communicate, and and keep us moving to the next scene and on time. It's like, all right, we need to get this shot. We need to get to the next one. You get the turnaround. Let's get this set up and go. We got yeah 10 days to get yeah
Right.
all this done. So let's make it happen. But yeah, so um, yeah,
And it's interesting that you're developing that skill of working with actors and getting clear communication with actors, because even as a producer, that's a really critical skill that I know a lot of people, myself included, like I don't even fully have that skill.
yeah,
And I remember actually on one shoot I was on, it was a feature shoot. Um, there was one actress who was she was awful. She was just awful to work with,
yeah,
and she was just like she would chop off people's heads and like she felt like she was just on the shoot, doing a favor for him. And at a certain point, we had to change around her schedule, which would change her travel dates as well. And I was in the meeting with the executive producer, and I said to him like, "Could you be the one that delivers this message?" And
mhm,
he wasn't sure why. He was like, "Okay." And then I saw him, and he picked up the phone and he called her and he said, "Hi, just blah 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 blah. Uh, Richard wanted me to tell you this, and he was concerned, that you might not take it well." And she literally started screaming at him over the phone. Like it was absolutely like shocking.
yeah,
But again, going back to building up that skill of understanding how each actor wants to be communicated with,
yeah,
it's very specific because each actor has a very different artistic process most of the time.
yeah. It's really true. Like I mean, with the one that kind of blew up at me. I mean, most of the time she was great and seemed nice and easy to work with,
Yeah.
but then like it's just like okay, so if there's certain things that are gonna kind of trigger her in a certain way that
Hmm.
I don't want to kind of go into that area with her. Like where is that line? Where does that happen? What actually makes her feel supported and more comfortable versus what makes her feel like,
Hmm.
oh, you're criticizing me. I guess because a lot of actors kind of have that. I don't know. Probably all of us, have those kind of insecurities and stuff. But it seems like actors carry them a lot. you know, um, and so um, I mean, their entire thing is I have to look good. I have to sound good. I have to, it's all about me and how I look and how I'm coming off in the scene. And if it's
Hmm.
if if it's not working uh and stuff in some way or other, then you know people are gonna be like, oh, you were terrible or you were not good in that or whatever. And
Yeah.
I mean that's just kind of the nature of this business anyway. You watch
Hmm.
movies like, oh, that movie was horribly directed, horribly written, horribly acted, and yeah, I mean, we rip apart movies. Um, and, I guess, I have learned a little bit more because I used to like watch a movie and be like, oh man, this script is horrible. And now I've like had a fellow of mine get made. And I was like, man, if I was watching this movie, I'd be sitting there saying, man, this script is horrible. And stuff like, and I would be saying that, but then I'd be like, oh, but I know what the script was. And and there's a disconnect that happens somewhere. And so it's like, oh, it's hard to know exactly where things go wrong on a film and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's can be tricky on where things go wrong in communication too if you're not being really really conscious of that, paying attention to okay, when I speak to the person in this way, like you know, 8 of them really respond well to that.
Hmm.
One of them finds that off-putting. So I need to find a way to communicate with that person in a different way that I communicate with everyone else, or we're gonna have a conflict going the whole time. If they're gonna be uncomfortable the whole time, and it's gonna make their performance suffer. It'll ultimately make the film suffer.
Hmm.
If they're feeling like that. Yeah, I there was a little bit of a different tack that the director had with a couple of the actors where she specifically wanted them to be uncomfortable and not feel good because it's like that's the way the movie's supposed to feel because it's a horror suspense thing. So it's
Mm.
like don't like so it's a performance. Let's not like actually make them miserable, stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes so it's like, yeah. I mean, if they're a method actor, I guess let them do that kind of method,
Mhm.
sort of thing. But we can kind of support them, um,
Yeah.
as best we can. Um,
Yeah,
something like that.
no matter what, the actors really do need to feel like protected and
Yeah,
secure in a lot of ways,
yeah,
not just from the director, but from everybody on the crew.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're doing the first AD position, I mean, that's your job. That's probably your number one role is
Mhm.
this set is safe. The
Mhm.
actors are safe. Things
Yeah.
are things are safe. It's like uh, you know. So there's this constant kind of balance of that. Like, is there something going on? And there were some moments where I had to step up and be like, this is not this is not right. We're gonna have to we're gonna cut. We're gonna move past this because constantly having to be I guess aware. So
Yeah.
kind of a big lesson as you're on a set and just looking around like
Yeah.
what is going on? What's you know
Yeah.
what kind of is there anything that's a risk for anyone so that we need to get rid of, stop from happening, you know,
Mhm.
clear, remove that risk. You've got light stunt stuff, make sure that everything's, very carefully set up and there's nobody just randomly walking through, um,
Right.
the thing, cover door. There was one point where I'd kind of learned that too, even with kind of communicating with an actor because we had kind of this sort of like a pseudo chase scene thing going on. One point where actor was supposed to like kind of ram into the door. They're in this wheelchair, and so
Mhm.
it's kind of walking through. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Here's where right now you'd ram into that, and she just did it. She just hit the door right as someone was like trying to come through, and like the person like got their finger jammed
Mhm.
and stuff. And it's like okay, so that was one of those where it's like okay, I feel like that's my fault. I didn't think you were actually gonna do it when we're talking about what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I didn't have like make sure this door is clear. There's nobody over here, and this things like that. Where I'm like, um, you know, so 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 yeah, learning like little things like that. Like okay, let's be clear. If we're doing a walkthrough, we're not actually doing like don't try to do a stunt or do
Right.
like something when it's not set up and people aren't expecting it. Someone might get hurt who's like just walking by and doesn't even know what's happening.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or I could or the actor could or someone else. So yeah, always looking for those safety things in that AD that AD spot. But yeah.
Well, cool. So, let me ask, as far as Loaded Deck, what is next for you on that? Since it sounds like you got a good cast attached, so like,
Yeah, so we've got a pretty good cast coming together. We'll have to figure out kind of who our two main leads are.
mhm,
Uh, Kevin Sorbo's got a big part. That's a supporting role.
mhm,
Um, as does Quinton, Aaron, and Dean Bakar. So there's those couple names that we have on there. We got a few other actually pretty good supporting cast people as well.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, I mean the main thing is getting the budget in place. So I've got pretty good crew people. I've got a really good DP who signed on. We've gone through and we walked through almost the entire shot list of the thing to have that just ready to roll so we know what we're doing
mhm,
ahead of time. Which has been fun because we've had a bunch of meetings where we kind of sit through and talk through the scenes. I'm like, here's the shots that I'm thinking, with this I've gotten, and he throws in ideas of what would be cool is if we do this, and it's like, oh, we can I think a little spots where we can kind of adjust and like make something like that happen.
mhm.
Um, you know, and of course being ready for whatever set we end up with. to have some spontaneity that we can do things, supposing we have enough time for a bit of spontaneity. But I always like to have things as planned as possible going into a shoot, so you can get it done, so like that. But yeah, I mean, right now it's mainly finding the budget, finding the investors, finding the cash to get this thing shot. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I was to say, we get the money's in place. We can be probably about 3 months out from budgets there to shooting, getting all the scheduling with the actors that we've got and getting the locations and stuff worked out. So come down to those permits and locations and people's schedules. But yeah, I don't know. Kevin tends to be pretty busy. He shoots a lot of stuff, so lining up his schedule will probably be one of the bigger challenges when we're getting the dates and stuff figured out. But it'll be good.
Nice, nice. So let me ask, if you could go back to 2005, 2006, when you landed in LA and knowing everything you know now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh man. Well, I would say that the thing that I did that helped me the most was getting on sets. And so I would definitely make sure that I did that and probably did even more of that. Like every time, and I wasn't even like, I wasn't out there trying to be like any big position or anything when I was there. I was PA. I'd be like, come on set, PA, uncredited, unpaid. Often they would throw me some cash anyway, but sometimes they wouldn't. But just to be out there on the stuff. So I would definitely say, get out there on the sets and start making stuff. Is what it really comes down to. Because I mean, I had no clue, what I was doing when I came out. I was like, all right, I'm a writer. I just want to write for people. I was really only getting onto sets to thinking it would probably improve my screenwriting if I knew how we're actually making these things a little bit more. And so, so I was doing that so I could kind of write around people's budgets and get an idea of okay, if what's a day of shooting like, what kind of stuff works good on a page but doesn't work so well when you're shooting. So getting getting copies of the scripts a little bit. I'd probably request those a bit more from when I was on the sets, because I was pretty much just running around doing whatever they told me to do. And then you just kind of see the scenes, and you see the people who have the scripts, and they might show you a couple things of what you're shooting or what you're doing. But usually they're just telling you what to do with us. We're making a rain machine today. You get to operate it. They're like, hi, that's awesome. I love it. That's cool. But yeah, so being able to actually look at the script and then look at what's being shot and kind of seeing how they line up and where things are getting adjusted and how that's happening to get a feel for that a little bit more. But yeah, the biggest thing is, go out and make some stuff. Don't necessarily just look for people to hire you for things, because it's you don't have connections, you don't have anything. I mean, it's a long roundabout journey to try to get anything going, and as soon as you start making something yourself, that then people say, oh, you're doing something, and then suddenly they're more likely to want to work with you, want to hire you. So it's kind of this weird thing. People want to work with you when you're working. They don't want to work with you if you're not working. Yeah. So yeah, just get out there and kind of make stuff.
And that is Season 2, Episode 19 of the Producers Lounge podcast. Thank you to my guest, Jared Vineyard, for joining us. You can find out more about him by checking out the show notes and visiting our website, greaterandgrander.com. Our intro and outro music today was Rythme Gitan by Latché Swing. Our episode still image is by Ricardo Tomasz on greaterandgrander.com. If you have any questions or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the episode comments. You can stay up to date by following us on social media at the handle GreaterGrander, all one word. Make sure to subscribe wherever fine podcasts are found, and also, if you like what we do, share this podcast with a friend who you think will enjoy it. I'm going to end with a bonus quote this week. Piers Anthony once said, "Being terrified, but going ahead and doing what must be done, that's courage. The one who feels no fear is a fool, and the one who lets fear rule him is a coward." Join us next week for more cocktails and questions, and until then, keep producing dreams.